Вау! Всем привет, друзья! Вы на канале Приятного. Сегодня у нас игра под названием Стэнли Парабл. Парабола Стэнли. И, в общем, у нас здесь... Я офигел, конечно, от таких, как бы, графических достижений. То, что берет просто и дублируется бесконечно, офигеть. Я не знаю, про что эта игра. Там говорилось что-то про какого-то Стэнли. Не знаю, ну там вообще есть эмоции, все вот это вот. Я себе сразу это возьму, если что. Пошлите. Там вроде на русском все должно было быть, а не на английском. Is never the end, is never the end. The end is never. Типа, нету конца. Ну да, типа, здесь помните, типа, нет конца. Или бесконечность. Бесконечная загрузка, типа, прикол такой. Я игру перезапускал, потому что там это субтитры сделал на русском. И, в общем, мне дали сразу достижение. Типа, то, что... как это объяснить-то? Что он так долго грузится? Реально? Загрузка бесконечна? Бесконечная загрузка или нет? Так, как все детство делали? Вот так вот берешь мышку, ставишь. Если двигается, значит не бесконечно. Не бесконечно, я видел. Дернулась маленько. В общем, я зашел, мне дали достижение снова здравствуйте. Прикольно. Прикольно, однако. Это у меня пропало все. Это очень страшно. Я такое не одобряю. У меня реально все пропало. Без шуток сейчас говорю. Все появилось. Все появилось, ладно. Появилось, так появилось. Появилось, значит появилось. Так, сидим, ждем. Бесконечность конца. Игра про работника офиса, потому что там офисный компьютер стоит, какие-то звонки, галдеж, гулдеж. Все вот это вот. Ну-ка, давай. Ну-ка, давай, ну последний. Ну чё он так долго загружается? На весе там 700 мегабайт. И, короче, она мало весит. Что они там так долго загружаются?
This is the story of a man named
Это история о человеке по имени Стэнли.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, of every month, of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Так, настройки, видео, энергосберегающий режим. Так, что там? Там ничего. Расширенные настройки. Режим сглаживания. Детализация шейдеров. Я думаю, что такое мыло? Высокое. Все вот так вот. Двойной буфер. Тройной буфер выключено. Так, все окей. Что происходит? Так, игра в О! А что за бред? Я сделал... Окей, ладно. Здесь что-нибудь работает вообще, нет? Нет.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
А где находится конференц-зал? Коллеги, вы чё, ну, так не делается. Сколько лет работаем вместе? Что за кидательство? Я не понимаю, здесь можно дверь открывать или просто идти по открытому коридору? Нифига ты паркурщик, Стэнли. Ты в офисе сидишь, а форма, будь здоров. Мое уважение тебе.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Я просто думал, в таких играх, ну, в таких моментах, когда там выше какое-нибудь достижение дадут, когда типа говоришь...
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Варенка, это упадет сейчас, да? Так, ну чё, я человек простой.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith...
Взял. Алло? Стэнли? Да, я Стэнли. Здрасте. 427. Это хоррор или нет? Там просто не... Ой, Стэнли, это ты? Подожди, дорогой, прости, что заставляешь ждать. Я вот только хлеб из печки достала.
Okay, there we go.
Уже иду.
All right, now I want you to come in and tell me
Заходи,
all about
расскажи, что у тебя сегодня было на работе. Здрасте.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Доброе утро, работник. 267. Нажмите 6 на клавиатуре.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Что будет? Это же 100% какая-то игра с выбором. Типа, буду ли я вот этим вот подкаблучником компании или главное противостояние? Ладно, один.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls, and down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby, and he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Можем поиграть еще раз? Перед тем, чтобы сказать твоей жене, что вы ее любите. Пластиковая кукла, я тебя люблю. Ай.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Все, я утром не иду на работу, типа, сказали, типа, спать, я сплю, все, выходной, отстаньте от меня. Все, выходной, мне мне этот сказал, не буду нажимать, серьезно вам говорю. Мне сказали, не нажимай, он кофеек. Хорошо. Ой, у тебя тут это, слышь, Стэнли, у тебя грязно в офисе, уберись. Насрал кто-то кого-то. Я не буду нажимать. Сядь. Я хакер. Да все, давайте, я не буду нажимать, я вам серьезно говорю, не буду. Можете даже не стараться. Уйдите, уберите, я не буду нажимать. Я пропущу инструкцию. Мне так посоветовал чувачок, который меня постоянно обзывает тупым. А чуваки, которые называют меня тупым, к ним особое доверие. Там спальня, если что. Поспать можно. Не, я не буду нажимать, я серьезно говорю. Я просто посижу, с вами поговорю о погоде, о лете. Что, у вас лето есть? У меня есть, у меня жара. Так, у меня тут вещь упала, поставлю на место. Делаем, вон пыль, надо пыль побить. Окно открыть, а то там самолет уже улетел, а мне жарко стало. Я не буду нажимать. Картины давайте посмотрим. Интересная игра. Шедевр. Шедевр не меньше. Так, ну. Офигеть. Действительно. Тихо, вот до чего технологии дошли. Часы двигаются. Не просто делают звук, что двигаются, а реально двигаются. Наверное, даже минуты двигаются. Или нет? Сидим просто. Сидим, ждем. Веселая игра. Без шуток. Ну реально двигается. Подожди, значит, здесь же реальное время идет. Подожди, а может время реально как у меня? Не как у меня. Получается, в этой игре можно посидеть целый день. Реальное время идет, то есть полоска двигается и часик. Вот часовой. Ладно, давайте нажму.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Как заставить его посмотреть на себя с той стороны? Чтобы не задавать вопросов, не понял? Открывайте. Так я честно смотрю, чего вы на меня вот сразу? Ну вы же видели, вот. Ты видел? Видел. Я сидел, ждал 2 минуты. Ничего не происходило, я не виноват, это игра сама.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I wanted to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
Я попробовал снова, и Стэнли нажал на кнопку. Это концовка опять одна из... Так, в смысле, о чем я виноват? Я сидел, ждал, если ничего не происходило. Нет конца, типа, нет конца, нет конца.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ой, здрасте.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
И тогда стало темно.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
По имени Мариэла.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Веселый конец. Ну да, здесь много концовок, от выбора зависит. Да, типа никогда нету конца, никогда нету конца, никогда нету конца. Ладно, давайте тогда сходим направо и пойдем в другую комнату.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Он никогда в жизни его не покинет. А что-то меняется все-таки? Я думал, это просто так бесполезно. Так.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Давайте вниз. Пятимся куда там? Понятно куда. А, все? Заново, что ли? Ладно. Хорошо. Ладненько.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go from here it's left.
Okay.
Oh no, it's to the right, my mistake.
А, понял. Это приколюха сейчас. Закрой это передо мной.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Точно, вот сюда. Так, тихо, ты меня собьешь, да, сейчас? Смотри, мне там. Ты уже помирал 2 раза. Третий не хочу. Ого!
No! This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Блин. Ладно. Интересная игра, интересная, 500 концов. Наверное. Почему? Кто этот мужик вообще? Что здесь происходит?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Походу. Похоже на то. Ладно. Теперь давайте просто поднимемся на офис. Самая банальная концовка, скорее всего. Сейчас давай. Я хочу попробовать сейчас просто пройти так, как надо.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then, it's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
А закроется, нет? А, понял. Ладно, ищем историю. История! История. Ты тут? И куда я иду? Стульчик? Посидеть? Нет. Синий свет. Иду на синий свет. Иду на спецэффекты. Это в рай? Нет, это к машине. Я в какой-то подвал пошел, меня шаманики... Чё? Куда я вернулся? Чё происходит?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ладно, давай рискнем. Почему бы нет? Да блин, серьезно. Задолбали эти перезапуски, если честно. Теперь темно здесь.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ultimate username assess. Здесь какой-то assess живет. Фан. Наблюдение. Весело у них работа кнопки нажимать. Я на такой поработал. То есть сидишь просто кнопки нажимаешь, тебе...
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Давай, вернемся назад. Что мы пропустили? Так, ну ладно. Возвращаемся назад.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Автор, ну определись в конце концов, ну. Ответственная должность, как тебя вообще взяли? Ой.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no.
Нет,
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Серьезно? Да, господи. Эта игра долгая, нет? Я бы на самом деле ее прошел. Интересная игра, серьезно. Ух, какой сюжет интересный, разнообразный, многогранный, великолепный. Ну и просто. О!
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Пошлите. Поворотик такой. В смысле? Полоса, ты меня не туда ведешь. Ладно, не, ну как бы следуем указаниям. За полосу так... Блин, ну диктор, ну реально дурачок.
The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Посмотри на папоротник. А куда меня... Какой папоротник? Ты мне зубы заговариваешь? Здесь нету папоротников.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ну, листики он маленькие. Короче, отстань от меня. Только время твое трачу. Свое, точнее, твое время не трачу так.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
Нет,
no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this... Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Да, блин. Да это полоса падла такая. Кстати, с каждым разом все FPS больше и больше.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now. Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. You should be fine.
И все будет хорошо. Окей, вообще пофиг мне. Ну, не вижу. Я вообще дальтоник, я ничего непонятно не вижу. Ну, да, идем. О!
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
Она сама перезагрузилась. Все, вот Стэнли, ты сломал. Я Стэнли. Диктор, ты сломал все. Я вот тут вообще ни при чем. Я ничего не трогал. Я просто ждал, как ты сказал. Опять все сломала. Ну, такая история была, ты сам не хотел. 1 FPS. Кстати, это реально, я заметил прикол, что в первый раз 1 FPS, потом 2, потом 8, а потом вообще 60 во время загрузки. То есть это, вот, да, он первый раз вообще сначала пропадает. Значит, сейчас все будет с самого начала. Скорее всего. Или даже титры будут. А титров не будет, да? Эту игру нельзя пройти. Ну, в смысле, можно, но типа нельзя. Титров не будет. Да. А нет, что новое.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Awaiting input. 1, 2, 3, 4. Я кастую просто. Это что у нас здесь? Не знаю что, почта какая-то. Остальное-то вообще реально не пальцем делано, там много сидят это. Здесь сидят на стульях, на жопе, на полу.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Я хочу прям полностью пройти так, как надо. Что изменится?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Просто не вижу, может там это видео, яркость есть какая-нибудь? Нет, окей, ну окей. Ну, я не знал, ну, совершенно не знаю, что.
2845.
4-5. Так, в смысле, я не вижу ничего, дайте мне. Может, я что-нибудь вижу все. Мышка, это тыкаю.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, what did he do?
Как, блин, удачно вышло. Ого. Закроется? Да не верю. Закроется? Серьезно? Да. И что, куда дальше? Ого. Я иду куда-то. Никуда я иду. Окей, сюда вышел. Слава богу. Не закрывается, серьезно. Ладно, поехали вниз. В комнату для этих. Правильно? Да, лодинг. Ладинг. Снова лодинг. Блин, так уже заканчивать пора. 40 минут.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Станция управления чем? Сознанием или Escape? Давайте выберемся отсюда.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Не-не-не, так дела не пойдут. А хотя, с другой стороны, ладно. Сетка выдрана. Так, ну и что? Ух, эти тишина. Первый раз в этой игре.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Пугай, чтобы я не выбрался. А я выбрался. Или нет? Я выбрался? Или нет? Или что вообще происходит? Или почему у меня мышка в пыли? Или почему здесь ладинг? Тоже интересно. Здрасте. Я пришел.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from the blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Я знал. The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
И почему рассказчик поменялся? Меня больше всего это волнует.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Не понимаю. Нисколько не понимаю. Картины какие-то. Авторы, скорее всего, висят. Так, ну, это какие-то офис, да, мультики показывают, чё? From James, типа, от Джеймса... типа, короче, Джеймс Ирвайт, объект. Кто сейчас в этой игре, типа? Как тебе играется? Я надеюсь, что, типа, хорошо. Типа, лучше. Типа, это, короче, первое. Все, типа, все заебись, чувак. Примерно так он сказал. Примерно так он и сказал. Так, ага. 27, 27, 27. Вот это да. Неожиданно. Там 3. Хотя бы уже не 27. Подожди, а мы в какой работали? Ехит. Ехит. Так, ну Ехит подождет. Мониторы какие-то рабочие. Майнкрафт какой-то. Офис клок. А здесь еще что-то есть. А здесь Эхита нету, да? Ну да. Ну да. Опа, темная комната. Главное выйти, а то меня не пустят. Потом и все. Ну ладно, значит идем на Эхит. Опять Майнкрафт. Что там за полоски на дереве какие-то? Какое-то современное искусство. Кто-то намазал? Козявки свои? Здесь есть это, кнопки. Типа, подожди, здесь типа все текстуры показывают? Монитор, рум-элеватор. Да, вон.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Обоим хочется стать свободным. Он. Все, я
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Ладно. Вот такая вот игра, я так понимаю. Поэтому подписывайтесь на... Так, ну давайте выйдем. Ну да, все. Получается, да, вот такая игра. Понравилась вам, нет? Решать сами. Игра прикольная, мне понравилась. В общем, все, давайте подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки и увидимся в следующих играх. Всем пока.